In addition to being one of England's most valuable forwards, Anthony Gordon is a young man who knows how to make the most of his earnings from the pitch. In today's video, you'll discover what Anthony Gordon's life is like. Anthony Michael Gordon was born on February 24, 2001, in Liverpool, Merseyside, a city where football runs through the veins of every street. Of Irish and Scottish descent, Gordon actually started out in Liverpool's own academy as a boy, before being released and making the crosstown move to bitter rivals Everton at just 11 years old. Talk about a plot twist! Gordon worked his way up through Everton's youth ranks, and on December 7, 2017, at just 16 years old, he made his first team debut in a Europa League clash against the PAL and Limassol, becoming the youngest player in Everton's history to feature in European competition. Not a bad way to announce yourself. His Premier League debut followed on January 18, 2020, coming on as a substitute in a 1-1 draw with West Ham United. To sharpen his game and get regular senior minutes, Everton sent him out on loan to Championship side Preston North End in February 2021, a spell that toughened him up for what was to come. Back at Goodison Park, Gordon became a key figure during one of the most turbulent chapters in Everton's modern history, helping the club survive relegation battles and earning the Young Player of the Season award in 2022. But his time as a toffee wouldn't last much longer. On January 29, 2023, after handing in a formal transfer request, Gordon completed a move to Newcastle United for an initial £40 million, potentially rising to £45 million with add-ons. He made his Magpies debut on February 4th as a substitute against West Ham United. The move transformed his career. At St James Park, under Eddie Howe, Gordon blossomed into one of the Premier League's most electric wide players, going on to be named Newcastle's Player of the Season for 2023-24. On the international stage, Gordon had already been a standout for England's youth setup, being named Player of the Tournament as England won the UEFA European Under-21 Championship in 2023. He earned his senior England call-up in 2024, scoring his first international goal that same year. His numbers kept climbing. In Newcastle's 2025-26 Champions League campaign, Gordon exploded for 4 goals in a 6-1 win over Karabakh, and by season's end had become just the second English player in history to score 10 or more goals in a single UEFA Champions League campaign, joining Harry Kane on that exclusive list. That form also earned him a place in Thomas Tuchel's squad for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, where he made his tournament debut in England's 4-2 win over Croatia. Then came the move that shocked European football. In May 2026, Newcastle agreed to sell Gordon to FC Barcelona for a reported €80 million, with the winger signing a contract through 2031. From being released by Liverpool as a kid to becoming a Barca player at Camp Nou, the journey of Anthony Gordon is proof that persistence pays off. Unlike some of his fellow Premier League stars, Anthony Gordon has kept his property life almost entirely out of the spotlight, and honestly, that fits the profile of a proud, grounded Scouser who's stayed pretty private off the pitch. The one property that has been publicly reported is a home in Ponteland, a leafy suburb just outside Newcastle, popular with players from the club due to its proximity to the training ground. The house has been reported to be worth around £3 million, though it's worth noting this figure comes from social media reporting rather than an official source, so we're labeling it as such. Beyond that, there's simply no verified, well-documented information available about other properties, past or present. What we can dig into with much more confidence, though, is the financial side of his career, the contracts, the transfer fees, the numbers that got him to where he is today. Stay right there, because that's coming up next. Anthony Gordon may keep his property life quiet, but when it comes to cars, the Newcastle winger has made plenty of headlines, and not always the kind he was hoping for. According to reports from motor finance specialists who track footballers' vehicle choices, Gordon's go-to everyday car has been the Range Rover Sport, a classic, understated pick that's practically a uniform among Premier League players. Functional, stylish, and low-key, very much in line with a self-described proud Scouser who's stayed pretty grounded despite his rise. But Gordon also has a taste for something with a bit more attitude. He's the owner of a Mercedes G63 AMG, the iconic G-Wagon, a boxy, powerful SUV favored by footballers across the league. That car actually landed him in some hot water. Reports emerged of a driving-related incident involving the vehicle that put him at risk of a ban. Not exactly the kind of headline a player wants. Then, in September 2024, Gordon truly turned heads. He was spotted leaving Newcastle's Darsley Park training ground in what was reported to be the first GMC Hummer EV ever imported into the UK. A fully electric monster of a vehicle priced at around £190,000. Despite weighing a staggering 4,500 kilograms, the Hummer EV produces 1,000 horsepower and can sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. The car went viral instantly. Some fans called it classy, while others compared it to a Lego brick in an armored vehicle. Love it or hate it, nobody could look away. From a modest Range Rover Sport to a one-of-a-kind 190,000 pounds electric Hummer, Anthony Gordon's garage tells the story of a player who's gone from Everton's academy to one of the most talked about names in the Premier League. But now that we've seen how he moves, literally, it's time to answer the real question everyone wants to know. Just how much has all of this cost? And how much has Gordon actually earned? Stay right there, because the fortune section is coming up next. Everything we've covered so far, the humble Range Rover, the eyebrow-raising Hummer EV, even the quiet house in Ponthieuan, all traces back to one thing: the financial rise of Anthony Gordon, from a released Liverpool youth prospect to one of the Premier League's most valuable wingers. Let's start with the contracts, because that's where the real numbers live. When Gordon joined Newcastle United from Everton in January 2023, it came with an initial fee of £40 million, potentially rising to £45 million with add-ons. One of the most significant transfers of that January window. After a breakout campaign in which he helped Newcastle lift the EFL Cup in 2024-25, the club's first major domestic trophy in 70 years, Gordon signed a new long-term contract in October 2024, which reportedly boosted his weekly wage to around £150,000, translating to roughly £7.8 million per year before bonuses. That put him firmly among Newcastle's higher earners, though according to salary trackers like Capology, still shy of top earners like Bruno Guimaraes. Then came the move that reshaped his financial standing entirely. In May 2026, Newcastle agreed to sell Gordon to FC Barcelona for a reported €80 million, with the winger signing through 2031. That fee alone made it one of the biggest transfers of an English player to a Spanish club in recent memory, and reportedly doubled his commercial and financial standing overnight. Off the pitch, Gordon's brand deals remain more modest than some of his England teammates. He's known to wear Adidas as his boot and kit sponsor, and while reports suggest bigger commercial opportunities have followed his rising profile, fueled by his UEFA U21 Euro winning form, his senior England breakthrough, and that unforgettable 4-goal Champions League night against Carabao, no blockbuster global endorsement deal has been publicly confirmed to date. It's worth noting, unlike stars with heavily documented sponsorship portfolios, most of Gordon's off-field earnings estimates come from financial trackers and net worth sites rather than official disclosures, so we're treating those figures as informed estimates rather than confirmed facts. One detail that has been documented more concretely: Gordon's personal company, Olanatna Limited, reportedly posted pre-tax profits of £2.9 million in the 2023-24 financial year, a reflection of his growing off-field business interests alongside his football career. As for his overall net worth, estimates vary depending on the source and method used, but most trackers place it somewhere between £15 million and £20 million as of 2026. Factoring in his Newcastle earnings, the Barcelona transfer bump, and his endorsement income. It's a figure that's climbed steadily and rapidly, especially considering he was still playing championship loan football at Preston North End just a few years earlier. From a boy released by Liverpool's academy to an £80 million Barcelona signing, Anthony Gordon's financial rise mirrors his football journey step for step: patient, consistent, and building towards something much bigger.
Hey, you like the video? So don't forget about leave your like and comment, and tell some suggestions of another videos, and hopefully we gonna do it. All about channel Dios to satisfy your curiosity.